I've worked in the tech sector for a number of years now, and I guess about 10 years or so ago, we started talking a lot about disruptive technology and this idea how technology can kind of emerge in society and change things and create kind of massive structural changes to the way we live our lives, the way we organize ourselves, or the way we experience the world around us. And it's really fashionable to talk about disruptive technology. I think a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of tech innovators kind of look at disruption as being something that you want, that you kind of gravitate towards, as kind of almost a value system that you think that technology should be disruptive, or the ultimate goal in creating technology is for it to be disruptive. But what that means can really vary for based on your own personal experience. A disruption in your life can cause not only like an identity crisis, but can really be problematic for your whole, ability to live independently and autonomously in the world. And so I like to think disruption less as about kind of challenging the status quo and more about improving things, making things a little bit better for the people in your lives and the people in our world. So we really have to stop and think about when we innovate or when we introduce new technologies, we really have to think critically about what that means to disrupt, what it means to kind of change things, and really what are the consequences, both good and bad, because we always fixate on the good. Oh, this is going to change things because it's going to make things better for this person or that person, or it's going to revolutionize the way we do this or that. But we don't often take a moment of just a beat and think about what are the potential negative consequences, what are the risks that are associated with introducing this technology, and really help use that risk assessment or that appraisal of what are the risks and feed that into the way we've created those technologies, so that we're limiting the negative impacts of those technologies, so that we're really working to try to create technology that is still doing good, but is also kind of preventing harm or preventing damage or preventing potential negative effects. So I think reflecting on the social impact of technology, both negative terms as well as positive terms, is really important to how we approach the tech sector, how we approach technology development. And I'm not just talking about jobs here. If you look historically, there are so many incidents where a new technology comes in and it kind of devastates a job market. It puts a lot of people out of employment, or it really kind of puts a lot of businesses out of business. And so I'm not just talking about that. That's a really important component, but really the challenge in the job market and with businesses going out of business isn't necessarily one of the technology disruption. It's really a kind of a limitation of our educational systems. So if our educational systems are kind of focusing on the issues that are important, the kind of inevitability that technology will disrupt our lives and especially our employment, then educational sector should really focus on lifelong learning and enabling people to continually to upskill themselves throughout their life. So they're not just learning a whole bunch of stuff at the beginning of their life and then basically stop learning after that, but really finding places in somebody's life where they can continually upskill and develop their professional capacities. That will deal with the whole unemployment issue. So then when disruptive technologies are introduced, it's not a matter of laying off a whole bunch of people, but reskilling them and finding ways of bringing them back into the job market. And I think that's a really important role of government, of education, but it's not necessarily something that I worry too much about when it comes to this issue of disruption. Now, for the jobs that I've had, disruption in the form of technology development has really had very limited effect. I've been lucky that I kind of came up in a lot of the information society, digital revolution, all that stuff, and in a way that I've been able to acquire digital skills and competencies and programming at an early age and kind of develop them throughout my life. So it's kind of empowered me to stay on top of things and make sure that my career is kind of future-proofed and make sure that I'm not vulnerable, or my work is not vulnerable to these technological disruptions. But we have to really take into consideration not just people like me, but really the people who could be most affected by these disruptions. And when we're considering ways in which we can create technology, we have to stop thinking about what's feasible. Technology developers often want to start right off with, what can I do? What is possible? What is feasible for me to create? But we don't spend enough time reflecting on what we should create, not just what's feasible, but what's really going to benefit the world around us. What is our purpose and our belief, and how can we translate that into a specific piece of technology? And stop thinking about what's feasible and start thinking about what's far-fetched in terms of our impact on the world around us, our positive impact on the world around us. Now again, I've been really lucky where technology has never really put me out of a job. But if technology disruption has impacted you, and if it's changed your sense of safety, security, or your sense of employment, I want you to know that this work is important for us to all take on, because it matters what impacts technology has on the world, not just the positive benefits, but also the potential harms.